know,
Make house in the
it's
town.
all good, baby. I mean, I ain't gonna handcuff you. You know what I mean? If you wanna be out there, be free, baby. You know, I ain't tripping.
Spent 5 years in prison for failing to pay child support for the defendant, Ms. Sears' son, Dylan.
That's right.
Mr. Manser, you are not
Oh, God.
his father.
5 years in prison.
So a mother can abort her baby if she doesn't want the responsibility, but a father will go to prison if he doesn't want the responsibility. Interesting.
One thing I will never agree with and I will never understand is a woman telling a man that he is the father of her child when she knows that he is not the father of her child. Even if you think that there's a possibility that he's not the father, he needs to know. The people who are doing this for financial gain, it's not okay. This guy experienced this. Listen to his story.
I have been married for 51 years. Got 2 sons, 42 and 40. Needed to take a test to see if any of us had a kidney good enough for my brother. Found out something interesting. They ain't my kids. There's somebody else's.
You are not the father. When it comes to 21-month-old Jocelyn Jeremy, you the 21-month-old Jocelyn Jeremy, you are not.
You are shaking.
I know.
I feel your nervousness from here. Are you okay?
Yes, Your Honor, I'm perfect.
Mr. Benny, you are not the father. It has been determined by this court. Mr. Harrington, you are not the father.
What? Told you, bro.
Are you serious?
A few years ago, my oldest daughter had to take a DNA test for school just to figure out ancestry. During the DNA test, she came to me very, very sad because apparently me and her were not related. I was like, huh? When she told me this, I had to keep a straight face because the immediate shock was just wild. Then I decided to go with her to get a paternity test done. When we got the paternity test done, it was also concluded that I was not her father. At this point, I was shocked. I've had 4 kids with my wife, and she was the oldest, and I needed to see how far this rabbit hole went. I told her to not let her mother know that we know this information, and then I went to my next oldest child. Not mine. I went to the one below that. Not mine. And then I decided to stop there because the youngest child is so young that this may directly affect them, and they don't really understand what's going on anyway. So I didn't even want to go into that rabbit hole. But when I got the information, I immediately was like, let me go talk to my wife about this. So like always, she didn't take responsibility or any type of accountability, and she said, how are you going to believe your wife over these tests? I was like, are you serious? Are you like, for real? Like, is this really where you're gonna go with this? Then she starts crying profusely and saying it was only one time. I didn't mean to do it. And I was like, it was only one time. Hey. And then I showed her that each one of the children aren't mine, with the exception of the youngest, as so I think. That's when it dawned on me that it was one time, multiple times. And then when we looked, each one of the children had different baby fathers. And somehow that made it even worse because it wasn't just one person you was cheating on me with. This is a habitual thing with multiple different people that you probably don't know about. And I'm taking care of their kids. They're my kids. I've raised each and every one of them from a super young age. And they stood by me through this whole situation. But to think that she's not who she said she was, because up until that situation, I thought we had a great marriage. I thought we had a great life. I thought everything was going good. I thought that we were building together and already have built together. She is a stay-at-home mom that works on things that she wants to do. She takes care of the kids. She cooks, she cleans, she does everything that's needed inside of the relationship with me. Yet she didn't tell me that she wanted to go outside of the marriage. She didn't tell me that she wanted to do anything. Anyway, after finding out the information and getting her side of the story, I let her know I would need a couple of space. So I had rented a hotel for a couple of days and I stayed in it. I stayed away and it was all right. It was good, but I really missed my kids and I wanted to see them. So after a couple of days, I was back inside of the house, but I'm not even gonna lie, I didn't say anything to my wife. I didn't speak to her. She would try to talk to me and I would look away. I would take care of the kids. I would grab the kids, take them to the mall, do different things with them. And everything was just, I was just trying to figure things out. I was just trying to see how I could make our relationship work, or see if I need to separate and just take the kids myself. Like, I didn't know what to do, if I had any like legal rights to these individuals. Yeah, my name's on the birth certificate, but I'm not biologically theirs. I just wanted to figure things out, but I didn't even get that chance, because 6 days ago she decided, other than taking any type of responsibility, to have a hangout session with the chandelier. And I'm so happy I have my kids, because I just don't know what I would like. It's just baffling to me, because the whole time, even with evidence, she just kept denying and denying and denying and denying. And I don't know if I did something wrong. I don't know if I was never supposed to know in the first place. I don't know what's gonna happen, but I know I didn't want this to happen. I didn't want to not have my kids, not to have their
Breaking news. An American man found he wasn't the father of his 3 sons, and how he took violent revenge on his wife will shock you. Richard was a 55-year-old businessman. He was married to a woman named Kate, and Kate was his employee. The couple had 3 sons, and Richard and Kate thought they would live out their lives together. But after a few years, the couple began to fall apart, and they finally divorced. Kate received $5 million, and Richard continued to pay child support for his 3 sons. But soon after, Richard went to his doctor for a checkup. And when he got the results of his tests, it turned out that he had cystic fibrosis. Richard asked the doctor directly if it was possible that he had passed the disease on to his 3 sons. But the doctor told him he had nothing to worry about, as he had been sterile since birth, so he hadn't been able to have a child. Richard told the doctor he was wrong, because he already had 3 boys. And that's when he realized that the boys didn't look at all like him, and that Kate must have been lying to him. Then what Richard did to his cheating ex-wife in revenge is so savage it'll shock you. Richard decided to tell his eldest son, who immediately asked his mother about it. And that's when Kate confessed to Richard and his son that while they were together, Kate had had an affair. Richard then sued Kate for $400,000, and now he continued to see his children as if nothing had happened.
You don't know how to hold a real nigga down? You can't even hold yourself down, baby. And consider this my love letter to you. Cause you know, like I said before, it's a cold world